Hey guys, what the fuck is up, you guys? My name is Humanity64 and welcome to a review of the Metal Gear Solid 2. This game, man, dude, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck. Alright, this fucking game. This game's really weird. There's a lot to it. There's a lot to it. This game amped up everything about the first game. I don't quite think the game lives up to the first one, but this game does a lot of things right. This is a hard game to talk about. It's a very confusing game. Metal Gear Solid 1 had a lot of story, but it was pretty much just very dense. A lot happened and a lot was happening. This game's story has a lot going on, but it's a very odd story, to say the least. If you've played this game, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Similar to Metal Gear Solid 1, this game is heavy on ideas and themes, and it really makes you think. It really makes you think. Metal Gear Solid 2 starts out 2 years after the first game. This game starts out how you'd expect a sequel to Metal Gear Solid to go. In 2007, a new Metal Gear named Metal Gear Ray was being transported to the US on an oil tanker. Snake comes out of retirement again to infiltrate the tanker and get footage of Ray. Pretty good so far. The tanker is taken over by a Russian military group led by Sergei Glukovich. Ocelot also shows up with a new arm. That arm belongs to Liquid Snake, and Liquid's genes are taking over Ocelot, and Liquid is kinda still alive. It makes absolutely no sense, but neither does most of this game. This game can be really campy at times, but it's very intentional. If Kojima wasn't aware of this game's camp and stupidity, then this game would be cringy and bad, but all of it is intentional, so it's funny. This is a very funny game, with stupid and over-the-top plot points and moments like Liquid's arm taking over Ocelot, but this is a very serious game with heavy ideas and themes. The game balances these very nicely, even more so than the first game. This game is more of the funny moments and more of the serious moments, but it's all very balanced, and this is a game that you could definitely take seriously. Even though you fight an obese man on rollerblades and a fucking vampire, Liquid Ocelot blows up the ship and steals Metal Gear Ray. Solid Snake is named as a terrorist and is blamed for the whole incident that happened. But that doesn't really matter because Solid Snake is killed in the explosion. Yep, Solid Snake is dead. That's the whole game. Just kidding. What I just described was about the first hour of the game. After the tanker blew up, a cleanup facility was built to clean up the pollution. 2 years later, the facility is taken over by the terrorist group, Sons of Liberty. They take all of the workers as well as the president hostage. The group demands $30 billion, and if they don't receive it, they will blow up the facility, killing all of the hostages and the president, and causing the worst environmental disaster known in history. You play as Jack, or Raiden, who is tasked by Colonel Campbell to stop the Sons of the Patriots and save the hostages. This was quite the surprise to me. I knew of Raiden's existence and that you played as him in this game, but I thought it was more of a Solid Snake mission, but no. This is Raiden's mission. He is the protagonist of this game. Raiden is a very different character from Snake. Snake is a very grounded character who seems like a soldier. Fuck. And Raiden is... well, just look at him. He's a cool anime character. Raiden is a newcomer, while Snake was a veteran. Raiden is a rookie, completely VR trained. We are also accompanied by Raiden's girlfriend, Rose, who is the mailing of the game. We know the story of Metal Gear Solid, or well, you should, but that won't help you in this game. We as the player, as well as Raiden, think this is a simple mission about stopping a terrorist group and freeing some hostages. Wait. Terrorist group? Hostages? $61? Gameplay wise, this game is a massive improvement from the first. The first MGS was really fun and enjoyable to play, but there was a little more that it needed. This game smooths and refines things out greatly. The combat was greatly improved as well. With the first person aiming and the many new types of weapons and items, the gameplay feels a lot more varied. You can play how you want to play. The first game laid the framework for mechanics of the series, but this game built on that framework and set the standard for the rest of the series and the stealth action genre as a whole. The game's graphics had a major upgrade too. Being able to actually see people's faces helped the story greatly, and the better graphics allowed for more open areas. The more closed view of MGS1 helped with the desolation and isolation of that game. This game has a really cool post-modern type look to it. You spend most of the game on this cleanup facility, but there is something off. Something that's not right. Like there is more to this story that you are not being told about. There is an ever-present sense of dread in this game. You don't know what is right and wrong and who to trust. You soon learn that there is no one you could trust. When entering the Big Shell, Raiden learns that he is not the only one who has infiltrated the facility. Raiden runs into a member of the Sons of Liberty, Vamp, who is just a vampire. He can run on water and up walls and recover from any injury. This guy is very powerful, but is temporarily killed by a man named Iroquois Pliskin. I wonder who that could be. Pliskin claims to be a part of the SEAL team, but Raiden questions his real identity. Raiden runs into another member of the Sons of Liberty, Fortune. Fortune has the ability to dodge any bullet. Not just that, she cannot get hit by any bullet. She cannot be shot whatsoever. Raiden and Pliskin meet with Peter Stillman, a former bomb disposal expert. Fat Man, a member of the terrorist group, planted C4s all around the facility and set them to detonate. Fat Man was taught by Stillman, who feels it's his duty to stop Fat Man now. Raiden goes around and prevents all the C4s from exploding, but that causes more C4s to explode, causing major damage to part of the Big Shell, and killing Stillman. Raiden finds and kills Fat Man. This is the first real boss of the game. This fight was really stupid, but really fun. Clearly these villains aren't meant to be taken too seriously, but Fat Man is so stupidly funny that you have to love him. This fight is really fun though. In this game there are a lot more ways of beating a boss than in the first. You can go about it in any way you want. Raiden kills Fat Man and is confronted by the Cyborg Ninja. This mysterious imposter reveals the location of the hostages and Richard Ames, who knows where the president is. He also reveals that Big Shell is not actually a cleanup facility, but a storage unit for Metal Gear Ray. Raiden finds Richard Ames, and he confirms that Big Shell is a housing unit for the new Metal Gear, and that everything that has happened in this game was planned from the start. Then Ames suddenly dies from a heart attack. That sounds familiar. A Cyborg Ninja appears again and saves Raiden from Ocelot. This is spoiler time, so yeah, be prepared to be utterly confused. Raiden searches for the president, but is stopped by the man who is calling himself Solid Snake. Pliskin reveals that he is the real Solid Snake. Shocker. And that the fake Solid Snake is actually Solidus Snake, the third child of the Big Boss Project. Or George Sears, the former president, the one Ocelot reported to at the end of the first game. Solidus makes his escape with Metal Gear Ray. Snake introduces Raiden to Otacon. Otacon reveals that he knew about Metal Gear Ray from his estranged sister, Emma Emmerich, who is somewhere inside the Big Shell. Raiden locates the president and finds out that he was working with a terrorist group to gain more power. He reveals the existence of the Patriots. The Patriots are the true rulers of the United States. They control everything that goes on. The president wanted to become one of the Patriots, but Solidus wants to overthrow them, so the president went against the terrorists. Solidus wanted to use the Metal Gear to fight the Patriots, but not Ray. There is another Metal Gear unit, The entire Big Shell facility is actually one massive Metal Gear, labeled Arsenal Gear. This reveal is insane. In the beginning of the game, we are shown Metal Gear Ray like it's the new and improved Metal Gear Rex, but really, the Ray units, that's right, there are multiple of them, were just used as protection for the real Arsenal Gear. Arsenal Gear was created to use a computer system called GW to protect the Patriots from the internet. They plan to use GW to keep every aspect of the internet under their watch. Solidus is the villain of the game, but all he really wants is to stop the Patriots, who are the real villain of the game. We find out that GW was created by Emma Emmerich, and she is the only one who could stop it. Ocelot kills the president, since he is working for the Patriots. Raiden finds Emma, who's clearly Hal's sister. Emma has a fear of water, and since the only way to reach Emma was flooded after the explosion earlier, that's not good. You have to escort Emma through these underwater sections. They are not fun. Escort missions are usually not fun, but combined now with underwater missions, oh boy, this is really the only big problem I have with the game. But Emma is a nice, cute character, so I had no issue with saving her. On the way back to the computer room, Emma is wounded by Vamp, who is still fucking alive. Hal and Emma have a heartfelt reunion before she uploads the virus, then dies. This is the second death that Otacon had to deal with in the series. This one actually being serious. Otacon is not a character who's taken too seriously, but it's really sad seeing him deal with the death of his sister, who he hasn't seen in years. The virus ends up failing and they have to infiltrate Arsenal Gear itself. Snake and Otacon have a great bonding moment before the cyborg ninja appears again and reveals herself to be Olga Gorlukovich. She knocks out Raiden and he wakes up naked in a torture chamber inside Arsenal Gear. Here, Solidus reveals Raiden's past. Raiden was a child soldier under Solidus. Raiden was taken in by the Patriots because of his skills, but his memory was erased so they can manipulate him. Olga reveals that she was forced by the Patriots to stop Solidus by threatening to kill her baby. As you can see, there is a lot going on in this game, but it's not over. Olga releases Raiden and he escapes. So here is where things get weird. Raiden questions if the Colonel was sent by the Patriots as well, and he starts to act really weird. This part of the game is legit terrifying. The Colonel and Rose start to act really weird and saying the strangest shit, progressively getting more and more bizarre. This really fucks with Raiden, who, understandably, questions whether he even exists. This feeling of isolation, along with the creepy atmosphere and music, and questioning of everything around you, and Raiden being naked, makes this part of the game one of the most surreal and horrifying gaming experience I've ever played through. Raiden meets up with Snake and gets his stuff back, along with a cool-ass sword that changes the gameplay up quite a bit. Otacon finds out that the Colonel and Rose that Raiden has been talking to the entire game has just been an artificial intelligence created by GW. So Emma's virus didn't actually fail, but it's just working really slowly. And that's why the AI was acting up so badly. The AI was used to manipulate Raiden into helping the Patriots. This fucks with Raiden even more, but Snake helps him out of it. Snake finds Solidus in the rectum. Solidus reveals the Patriots S3 program that was made to replicate Solid Snake through VR training. Solidus leaves Raiden with 3 Metal Gear Rays to take care of. This fight was really intense and thrilling. The virus fully kicks in, rendering the Rays useless and setting Arsenal Gear on a course to hit Manhattan. Solidus reveals that he was never truly interested in using Arsenal Gear, but to kill the Patriots. Ocelot reveals his true self and his true involvement with the Patriots to Solidus. The S3 plan was not just to replicate Solid Snake, but to replicate the entire Shadow Moses incident in its entirety. Everything that happened from the first game to now has been a part of the Patriots' plan. everything. Liquid takes control of Ocelot again, and they escape using Metal Gear Ray, with Snake following them. Arsenal Gear crashes into Manhattan. Solidus explains that he wants to leave a legacy of his own, a legacy that couldn't be covered up by the Patriots. He wants to restore America to the ideology of no control. His motives are understandable, but this way of doing it is very self-centered. The AI reveals that the S3 plan was made to control everything. And I mean everything. To control how humans will grow and evolve. What I love about the story and the countless plot twists is that, well, in real life, this would be insane and impossible, but in this fictional Metal Gear Solid universe, it makes it believable. It gets really fucking meta about the flow of media and fiction. Just talking about it does not do it enough justice. You have to play and experience the game for itself to get the true experience. Even though this cutscene is like a half hour long, it's insanely good. This game came out in 2001. 2001. I played this game last year in 2020, and I feel the themes and ideas are much more present now than back then. This is a game that has gotten better and more important over time. Rosemary and Olga's child are still being held captive by the Patriots, so Raiden has to finish the job and stop Solidus. There is one last battle, and Raiden kills Solidus. Now, the job is done. Sons of Liberty are no more. Snake gives Raiden a very good speech about destiny and legacy, that you are in charge of your own destiny. Then, Raiden meets up with Rose, who was set free from the Patriots? After the credits, Snake and Otacon discover the identity of the Patriots, but as it turns out, all 12 of them have been dead for over 100 years. The game's political commentary is insane. It became so much more than I ever thought it would. The story of the first game seems minuscule compared to this. This game is not a game that is taken lightly. This game makes you think like no other game has. This is an experience you cannot forget. Sons of Liberty is a great game. That story will hit you like a ton of bricks. This is a game that is to be experienced in its fullest. It's not an easily digested game. I have some issues with the game, but they're very far and few between. This game is more of a movie than a game. There are probably more cutscenes than gameplay in the game. And a lot of it is codec calls, so it can get very static, but the other cutscenes are really good. The story is amazing, and it's not easily comprehensible. And I think that's where it truly shines. This game will have a long-lasting impact on gaming for a very long time. This is a game that must be played for the great gameplay and the insane story that relates more and more to our current political climate. I am going to give Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty an 8 out of 10. To get the best experience from this game, you must play the first game. This game, I'd say, is just as much of a classic as the first game. Okay! This has been Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty.